It is Friday Night Live with Matches 860. 87 degrees under partly cloudy skies here in central Connecticut. We have 13 in the house at present, just jumped to 18. Daniel, Leslie, hey. Yardism's in the house. Pongo Briar, good evening. Pipe Writer, how are ya? Everett Young, Buckeye Piper, Snobby Piper, Bona Piper, Groovin' Piper, Jeff Palmer, hello. Pipes and Kayaks, Brad, how you doing? Kevin Corrigan, hello. Happy Friday to you, sir. Midnight Piper. Eric, the blue collar pipe smoker. Really enjoyed your video on the classic old drugstore blends. Great stuff. Great stuff. Corncob pipe with Pegasus at the moment. Baltimore, how are you doing? AT. Up to 52. That's a very fast jump from 18. Hope everybody has a lot to talk about between themselves tonight. I am bushed. Got up at 6:30 this morning. And about a week ago, our kitchen faucet died. Put it in about 15 years ago, and it had had enough. So during the week, I picked up a faucet and decided I'd be prepared and picked up some extra shut-off valves just in case. Sure enough, I couldn't shut the water off to the sink. So I had to shut the house water off, replace the shutoffs. Then I was able to replace the faucet. But probably the worst part of the whole job was cleaning out the stuff from underneath the sink. I don't know. There ought to be a law that you can only have a certain number of jars and bottles and Band-Aids, whatever else I found down there. So that was a lot of fun. Funny thing is, I've done dozens and dozens of faucets at work. I can do them in about 20 minutes at work. For some reason, when I'm at home, everything takes 3 times as long. And such was the case with this. I think it took me 2 hours. Yeah. Jordan Taylor, thanks for joining us. Nicholas Cox, great to see you out there. Luke, good evening to you. Daniel, my feelings about Pegasus over haunted bookshop. What a great question that is. You take haunted bookshop, which is Burley, Virginia, Perique, and it's got a real twang to it. It's pretty strong, very strong. I love it. It's an all-day smoke. Pegasus, on the other hand, is Burley, Virginian Cavendish, unsweetened black Cavendish. And it's smoother. There's no rough edges like haunted bookshop. Reminds me of an old drugstore blend, how it should have been. It's a nice change from haunted bookshop, but haunted bookshop, I think, will always be my all-day smoke. 762 by 51. Thank you for the little tip in the tip jar. Very much appreciated. Budrums. Yes, I have tried Morley's Best. I think I still have some here. Very good stuff. Very enjoyable. Good evening, Doug Owen. How's everything at Cargo Hold? 72 in the house. Yes, pipe writer, wearing my undershirt because it was so hot today. Jordan Taylor, yeah, haunted bookshop takes some time to get used to because it is strong. And I even have trouble with it sometimes because I forget that you can't do it on an empty stomach. You got to go slow with it. And once you understand how to deal with it, it gets to be much easier. Paperback Piper is doing Kentucky Club. Great stuff too. Hello, Mark Marino. Everett Young, you're singing my song. Big and Burly, Old Joe Krantz, Haunted Bookshop. James, you'll get me in trouble. You'll get me in trouble. Glad to hear Cargo Hold is busy. If you're ever out that way, Washington State, Paulsbo, Washington, look up Cargo Hold. He sells a lot of good stuff. So speaking of getting in trouble, I think I'll light up the Friday Savinelli. I guess everybody knows by now, if they hadn't heard already, that YouTube had demonetized an awful lot of creators' videos in the YTPC. And as somebody said somewhere, if you didn't think that was coming, you're foolish. And I have to agree with them. We're lucky that at this point they haven't taken the videos down. But I noticed on mine, all of my reviews, I lost them all. They have a little yellow mark against them for not being advertiser friendly. And my live streams weren't touched except for one that I did in January. And I didn't go and watch it to see what it was that might have set up a red flag. But I watched a video from a channel called Creator Insider. A couple of YouTube people get on there and they explain a lot of behind the scenes stuff at YouTube. And let me see if I wrote down the name of that video. You guys can look it up yourself. Channel name is Creator Insiders. And the name of the video is More Clarity Around ad-friendly guidelines. So they touch on all the subjects which are a thorn in their side: firearms, drugs, people harming themselves, political debates, all kinds of stuff. And then they get into tobacco. And I think the key word that they used that we kind of have to think about is they don't want you promoting tobacco. So I guess that's one of the reasons that all my reviews got hit, was because you're promoting the product. I think if you're just sitting there smoking a pipe, discussing other things, for right now at least, it doesn't seem like it's a problem. So the people who are monetizing, that are losing the monetization on certain videos, I guess you got to rethink what you're doing, and also consider your tags. And I don't know where I heard this, if it was from a YouTube source or somewhere else, but depending on what's going on in the comments of the video, they might give you a strike on that as well. So the way I see it is I don't really have that much control over it. And I'm not exactly sure what direction I'm going to head in going forward, except as long as I can keep the live streams monetized, I'll stay with that. And as far as my fill-in videos that I like to do, they might be walks in the woods. They might be fooling around with the iPad like I did one time already, fooling around with the phone video camera. Have a couple of ideas in mind, but I'm not really worried about it until they kill the live stream. If they kill the live stream, then I really have to think about doing something else, and I'm not sure where I would go at that point. If anybody has any great suggestions, let me know. And you can always email me at matches860@gmail.com. Matches860 is all spelled out, kind of long. Oh, Daniel, you're going to get me in trouble, because the other thing that they mentioned was any instructional videos as well. So if I'm telling you what you should do, then I'm instructing you, and I'm violating the policies. However, it has been my experience that you will get a different, you can get some different flavors, some different burning characteristics between a thick-walled and a thin-wall pipe. Um, I don't think that there's really any better one for a person starting out. Whatever you can get a hold of. Good question, Pongo Briar. Nicholas Cox. I would almost tend to agree with you, but it's a battle that we're not going to win. Thank you very much, Jordan. We hope to stick around for a little bit longer anyway. Be analog. I was thinking about Mutton Chop as well, because he's done some fantastic instructional videos. And I hope that they don't go after him, but according to that video that I referenced, they were pretty clear about instructional videos. Midnight Piper, I didn't have my plumber's crack out today. Pongo Briar, sounds good. Buckeye Piper, I've thought about Patreon, and I still don't want to do that unless I'm starving to death. Eric, the blue collar pipe smoker. I don't think that YTPC will go by the wayside in the near future, because if YouTube wanted to, they could easily wipe out the videos. All they're doing is looking out for, supposedly, the advertisers. So for right now, we're good. A couple of months from now, who knows? But I think everybody needs to kind of be aware that it is getting very real now. Daniel, even though I don't smoke Virginias much, Virginia #1 from McBaron is probably one of my favorites. I had a few from McBaron, from McClellan, that you can't get anymore except on eBay. But I had a lot of McBaron Virginia #1 in my day. Hey, Ghost Cub, how you doing? Hope all is well with you. Sorry you can't make it to Sarge's cookout. The way my life has been lately, I won't know whether I'm going or not until that morning. That'll be a week from today. And then the next day, which is Saturday, July 6th, at 3 o'clock Eastern time, I'll be doing another Saturday matinee for all of my viewers across the big pond. Do I prefer flakes or ribbon cuts? There's another great question. I prefer loading ribbon and lighting ribbon, but the actual experience, I don't think you can beat a flake. Not to say that ribbon doesn't taste good, but if I had my choice and I wasn't in a hurry, I would probably pick a flake over ribbon cut. Pegasus is in the pipe. Let's see. Oh, they're going by too quick. Everett Young, yes, cube cut burley is great by itself. The only problem with cube cut burley is you've got to be ready to smoke it as soon as you put it in the bowl, because if you put your pipe in your pocket, it's all going to just fall out. There's no way to really pack cube cut burley. It won't stay. It's kind of like little chunks of wood, and there's no springiness or anything else to it. So it goes in your bowl very loose and it'll fall right out. But it is good by itself. This is my favorite pipe. 673. James. I'm sure that alcohol at some point is going to be frowned upon as well, so reviews of booze is not a good idea. I need some good solid ideas for videos to kind of supplement the live streams. And if I don't think of anything, then live streams only is what it's going to be. So we'll see what the future brings. 105 in the house. How about 116 again? That would make my night. If I didn't say it, thanks to Brier Report for tweeting out that I was coming on. Very much appreciated, although I almost canceled at the last minute because we had a medical situation today, which resolved itself about 45 minutes before going live. So we got through it. Matt the Piper, good evening to you. History of specific tobacco blends. Now that reminds me of something. Going through my videos, I was just checking to see, checking to make sure nothing else got hit with the unfriendly advertiser content. And I came across a video I did a couple of years ago at Halloween called The Cemetery. I must say, I thought it was one of my better works. And it was sort of a guide to, if you go to a cemetery, the symbols on the stones, the lettering, the stone types, was all about that. And it was all about how they buried people in during the colonial period. So it was strictly like this history video, which again, I did it at Halloween thinking there might be a little spook factor to it, but that never really came out in the video. And it got struck as being unfriendly advertising. And I couldn't figure it out. I rewatched the video thinking I might have said something that, wasn't very good. And I don't know what happened, but I appealed it. And I've appealed probably 4 or 5 in the past. And they came back and they said, no, we're not changing it. So I don't know what that was all about, but no history videos, I guess. Jim Coburn, great to see you. Wethersfield is the place. Didn't Wethersfield, I think it was back in the 60s, somebody got a meteorite through their living room ceiling. Thing was huge. Well, when I say huge, it was like a softball or something. Artisan's Blend. I love that stuff. Blue Dog. In case anyone's curious, Ashton Tobaccos makes Artisan Blend. Savinelli 320. I have one. And I had gone back and forth for years about buying one. And I always felt it was going to be too bulky for me, even though I never actually handled one. Somebody happened to send me one. And my initial feelings were that I was right, that it was too bulky. But I smoke the 320 quite often. Smoke's really nice. Pongo Briar. Riverboat Gambler is fantastic, but it's another one that make sure you're ready when you light it up, because that stuff put me on my knees one time. The oldest tobacco I smoked, I think, was the 1920s, half and half. 762 by 51. I believe that the 673 fits better in the hand than the 320. But I would guess that if you're used to the 320, that's what feels the best, then go for it. The Amphora Burley is raising its head again, and we've hit 116. Thank you, viewers. Christopher Young, how are you doing? Thanks for joining us. join in the conversation. I want to see the comments go like this and this and this. Graham Wilson. They don't have anything to say about it. Better than cigarettes. That's about the only thing. But they don't know about the cult following. In fact, my wife said to me one time, "So what do you do down there every Friday night?" I said, "It's Friday Night Live." Okay, I think we're gonna light up the Smooth, Bing's favorite. I haven't smoked this in a while. I smoked the rusticated one not long ago. And I have from Don a homegrown burley that he toasted and flavored with cocoa. And it is good, really good. Let you have a look at that. Really nice stuff. Has the earthy smell of burley and just a hint of cocoa. And I believe he told me this is 5 years old. Wonderful stuff. Middleton's Cherry Blend. I smoked that for about a year. But I smoked it in one particular gray bow so that I didn't mess up the rest of my pipes, because that stuff really leaves a ghost. Thanks for joining us, AT. You have a good evening. Have a good weekend. Have a good upcoming week. Daniel. I actually don't have a preference on a pre-carbonized bowl or a Brier Briar bowl in a new pipe, because I do like those first couple of smokes in a Brier Briar pipe, where you get the briar smoldering a little bit. Lets you know you got a new pipe. Gamecock Piper, happy Friday. Oh, Jim McBaron's Bold Kentucky. One of, let's see, we talked about Riverboat Gambler. That put me on my knees, and so did the Bold Kentucky. I did a review on it a couple of years ago, and I smoked a couple of bowls of it first thing in the morning. And I went to edit the video after doing the review, and I could just feel heat coming up from my feet up into my head, broke out into a sweat, and the next thing I knew, I was gagging. So make sure you have something in the stomach, or have some kind of sugary drink close by. Dunhill nightcap. I think I still have a tin of that here somewhere. Happy Friday, Titleist Golfer. Samuel Goeth Full Virginia Flake. I think somebody sent me some of that, and I sent it along to somebody else because I'm not a Virginia smoker. Billy Bud, great stuff. Titleist Golfer. I must say that my bowls have decreased considerably, mainly because I've gotten so much busier. I just don't get the chance to get outside at work. So I think I've probably cut those bowls in half. And when I do get out, I don't smoke a whole bowl. So I'd have to sit and figure out what that is, but it's not what it used to be. Key Largo. GLPs. Never had 10 Russians, sorry. Doug Owen, you're correct. You warned me. Daniel, I always grab the pipes on the lower part of the rack, at least for 90% of the time. And then I'll go for my Rivara pipes, Rick Black pipes, and at night I'll pick random. There isn't anything that I go to all the time other than those that are on the bottom row. SRT, I can tell you, Riverboat Gambler and Bold Kentucky. Those are the only two that I've ever had a problem with. Pongo Briar, that is weird. It's one of the things that I like about Pegasus. It's such a nice break from Haunted Bookshop. Not quite as strong either. And there's really something to be said. And I think Eric, the blue collar pipe smoker, was talking about this. There's something to be said for those blends that are just comfort blends. Just gives you a good smoke. You don't have to think about them. Very basic. Yeah. Penzance, love it. Tilbury, I just finished it up maybe 2 weeks ago. Had a Probably 5 or 6 ounces of it that I smoked up. Ah, there's Brier Report. So great to see you. Ah, John, I have not smoked Old Dark Fired recently. I have a drawer back there somewhere that has a lot of jarred stuff that, I opened the tin and then I threw it in a jar. I know that there's some Old Dark Fired back there along with some other terrific stuff. And because I keep my stuff here on the desk handy, a lot of times I forget to go back there. Same thing, I have right behind me, I have some Elizabethan mixture in a jar. I always forget that it's there. Love that stuff. Yeah, Old Dark Fired is terrific. Ah, some kind words to Brier Report. We love it. Other than Haunted Bookshop, what is your favorite Burley? I love plain old ribbon cut Burley, cube cut Burley, Burley Flakes. I think they're all on the same level. Sorry, Nicholas, I can't answer that question, but somebody here can. So let me see, what else have we got news in the news? Just busy. It seems like the older I get, the busier I get. And I was hoping that the older I got, the more I would slow down. I don't know what that's all about. Ah, plum pudding. Another terrific blend. Thank you, Brier Report. I like to think of Friday Night Live as just a place where you guys can join me. We can all get together and go back and forth discussing whatever. I don't always get to see what conversations are going on in the background, but I know they're going on and it's great. I hope that all you guys are like swapping your contact information and people are getting over to Brier Report and ordering stuff from Doug Owen at Cargo Hold. There's a great question. Christopher Young. You know, a lot of companies, I shouldn't say that. Some tobacco companies have created morning blends, and I really don't think there is such a thing. Um, Early morning blend, I had that and I couldn't figure out why it was called that, because it tasted like everything else that I smoked during the day and at night. Um, for me, I'll do Haunted Bookshop first thing in the morning, and I'll do Pegasus first thing in the morning. There's a lot of stuff I'll do. I'll do Latakias, especially in the winter. So I think if you want to decide that something's a morning blend, that's terrific to do. But I don't know that there is really um, any combination of components or anything like that that are better in the morning than at other times of the day. I have not smoked a heck of a lot of the match blends that Sutliff makes. So I really can't answer your question, but based on other people in the YTPC, I would say that Sutliff has done a great job doing the match blends. Matt's thinking, I have to agree with you. Whatever goes great with coffee is a great morning blend. Pongo Briar. Sounds like a good idea. $106 in the house, 107, 23 thumbs up. That's not bad. I'm gonna finish up this pipe and move along for the evening. The ice cream freezer video. That was a lot of fun to do. I got so many of those kinds of stories. And again, I think if worse came to worse, I could just drop the pipe and tell the stories, and hopefully I'd still get a decent amount of views, because I don't think there are that many that are watching just to see the pipe. But I really prefer having a pipe when I do a video because it relaxes me and kind of helps me think. Oh, Lefty 68. We got all kinds of room in Connecticut. There is Don Miles. Hope you were able to see my little mini review of your stuff there. Can't say that word review too loud or I'll get this one flagged. Gamecock Piper. We haven't hit July yet. July is Bacon Old Fashioned month. All righty, Don, you do that. So, I guess we're going to call it a night. Thank everybody for stopping in as usual. Next Friday could be a little shaky because I'll be at Sarge's if everything works the way it's supposed to, Sergeant Savinelli's. And I'll probably, I don't know, we'll have to see. I'm going to take some video there, I hope. So you might see a video later Friday night, but I'm not guaranteeing that there's going to be a Friday Night Live just because of the festivities. But there will be a Saturday matinee, 3 o'clock Eastern time. So if we don't catch you Friday night, hope you're available Saturday at 3 o'clock. And I hope everybody has a great weekend.